Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar, your trusted source for real updates, grounded analysis, and everything happening in the world of the dinar. If you've been following this currency for years, or even decades, you already know the story has been long, complicated, and full of ups and downs. But today we're diving into something that's catching everyone's attention. Reports suggesting that major U.S. banks, including Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America, may have quietly begun accepting Iraqi dinar notes once again. If true, this could mark one of the biggest shifts we've seen in years. For a long time, the Iraqi dinar has been surrounded by both hope and skepticism. After the early 2000s, when Iraq began rebuilding its economy, many people saw an opportunity. The country had immense oil reserves, a young population, and a chance to rebuild its financial system from the ground up. Investors believed that over time, as Iraq stabilized, its currency would follow suit, maybe even return to pre-war strength. That idea sparked a global wave of dinar holders, people waiting patiently for that moment of validation. But what followed wasn't easy. Over the years, countless rumors, fake news, and unverified RV dates made it hard to tell what was real. Many who believed in the dinar's long-term potential were left trying to navigate through noise and speculation. Yet despite everything, one thing never changed. That core hope that one day the Iraqi dinar would gain legitimacy and liquidity on the global stage. Now, recent reports are fueling that hope again. Several sources claim that big-name U.S. banks, Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America, have started accepting Iraqi dinar at certain branch locations. These reports suggest that it's not just a one-off or a teller mistake, but a structured change in internal banking policy. If this turns out to be true, it could represent a pivotal moment in how financial institutions view Iraq's currency. To put this in perspective, for years these same banks had distanced themselves completely from the dinar. Back in the 2010s, after initial curiosity faded, major institutions stopped dealing with it altogether. They cited real concerns, counterfeit risks, low demand, compliance issues, and the logistical nightmare of verifying authenticity. From a business standpoint, it just didn't make sense to handle a currency that few people were using and that carried so much uncertainty. That's why this current buzz is such a big deal. If the reports are accurate, it means these institutions are reversing a long-standing stance, and that doesn't happen casually. According to eyewitness accounts and online confirmations, some Wells Fargo locations have reportedly processed small denominations of dinar, mainly 5,000 notes through foreign exchange channels. Chase and Bank of America have been mentioned as well, with reports suggesting they've added the dinar back into certain internal listings of acceptable foreign currencies. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean every branch across the country is doing this. These appear to be controlled, limited rollouts happening at specific branches with trained personnel. Still, the fact that any major bank is even touching the dinar again is worth paying attention to, especially considering how tightly U.S. banks operate under federal oversight. They don't make moves like this unless the compliance boxes are being checked and the technology to verify currency authenticity is reliable. This shift may also be tied to broader improvements within Iraq's own financial ecosystem. Over the past few years, Iraq's central bank has modernized its operations, upgraded anti-counterfeiting technology, and introduced stricter digital tracking for money flow. These efforts, combined with better international cooperation, could be giving banks the confidence they once lacked. When a currency's security features improve and verification becomes faster, banks become more willing to engage. But let's pause and separate two important ideas: acceptance and revaluation. These are not the same thing, and this is where a lot of confusion often starts. If banks are now accepting the dinar, that means they are willing to process it, likely at the current market rate. It does not mean Iraq has revalued its currency or that the dinar's value has suddenly skyrocketed. This is a step toward liquidity, not a rate change. A true revaluation would require an official policy action by the Central Bank of Iraq, a formal adjustment to the dinar's exchange rate that raises its value against other world currencies. That has not happened. What's being reported now is about accessibility. the ability to exchange or process dinar within mainstream financial systems. But even that limited form of access represents meaningful progress after years of exclusion. Think about what this means psychologically for long-time holders. For years, many couldn't even walk into a local branch and ask about the dinar without getting blank stares. Now, just the possibility of being able to exchange notes at major U.S. banks changes the tone of the entire conversation. It brings the dinar from the speculative corners of the internet into real-world financial spaces. So why now? Why would these institutions be reconsidering the dinar after so many years? The answer likely lies in Iraq's steady economic progress. The country has stabilized its oil output, replenished foreign reserves, and begun diversifying its economy. It's also strengthened anti-money laundering laws and built closer partnerships with international financial organizations like the IMF and FATF. These improvements matter. They reduce the risk of doing business with Iraq and make its financial system more trustworthy. At the same time, we're seeing a global trend toward re-engagement with emerging markets. Investors are looking for new opportunities outside traditional economies, and Iraq, with its vast energy resources and reconstruction projects, fits that bill. In that environment, reintroducing the dinar into mainstream banking, even on a limited scale, doesn't seem far-fetched anymore. According to reports, banks implementing these changes are doing so very carefully. At Wells Fargo, specially trained staff reportedly handle the dinar exchange process, using advanced authentication tools to verify each note. This includes checking for microtext, color-shifting ink, embedded holograms, and serial number patterns that match official records. Chase, on the other hand, is said to be offering the service primarily in regions with large Middle Eastern communities. Again, in a controlled environment, Bank of America's reported approach is even more selective. It said that only long-standing clients with verified transaction histories and clear sources of funds can access the service. That tells us this rollout is cautious, compliant, and fully aligned with regulatory expectations. It's not a mass launch, but a tightly managed re-entry, a way to reintroduce trust, one verified transaction at a time. If you're a dinar holder considering an exchange, there are a few important steps to take. Always call your bank ahead of time. Don't just walk in expecting every branch to handle foreign currency. Not every location has the equipment or authorization to process dinar transactions. Ask specifically whether they deal with Iraqi dinar, whether appointments are required, and what documentation you'll need. You'll likely have to show valid ID, proof of an active account, and if possible, receipts or invoices proving where you purchased your dinar. This helps the bank comply with anti-money laundering laws and ensures a smoother transaction process. The notes will typically be exchanged at the prevailing market rate, and depending on the amount, processing might take a bit of time. It's also crucial to understand that exchanging foreign currency, especially for profit, can be a taxable event in the United States. If your exchange results in a gain, you may owe federal and state taxes, either as capital gains or ordinary income. Keep records of everything: original purchase receipts, exchange confirmations, and any communications with the bank. For larger amounts, it's smart to consult a tax professional who understands foreign currency rules. The bottom line is this: while the reports about Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America accepting the Iraqi dinar still need formal confirmation, the growing consistency of these stories signals something real may be changing. Whether it's the start of a broader policy shift or a limited test run, the fact that we're even discussing banks processing dinar again is significant. After years of silence, this renewed interest shows that Iraq's long, difficult road toward financial normalization might finally be turning a corner. It's not an overnight miracle, and it's not the RV event some have dreamed of, but it's a real-world step forward. And sometimes that's how genuine progress starts. Quietly, cautiously, one verified exchange at a time. So for now, stay alert, stay informed, and don't get caught up in unrealistic hype. The dinar's journey has always been about patience, strategy, and perspective. We'll keep tracking these developments as they unfold, and if this trend continues, it could reshape how the world views Iraq's currency in 2025 and beyond. Thanks for watching Iraqi Dinar. Make sure to like, Share and subscribe so you never miss the updates that matter most. Until next time, stay smart, stay grounded, and as always, keep your eyes on the facts.